advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fat Nest Nerd Run-Throughs, and we're doing another top 10 in my new house of mean games.
Costa del Nasty.
What?
Costa del Nasty.
Costa del Nasty? What? Is that what you said?
Costa del Nasty.
I don't know what that means.
Forget it.
I don't get it. If you get it, like this video. Anyway, so mean games, basically, I think the criteria was just big fuck you games. Whether that's something that the game, that's what it was. Whether something it's the game that allows you to do, or whether it's a choice of the person.
Right.
Because I couldn't remember. I had something, I just had to update this list because I was like, why is that on here? And I think I know why. And I'll mention what was on here and what got taken off whenever we get to it.
Okay.
But because there was one act that made me think, yeah, no, that was a big fuck you. So let's just start off with an honorable mention. I'll start. My honorable mention is now Talisman. Is actually it can be a very mean game. The game itself is pretty brutal and unforgiving because of just the sheer randomness of everything. But why it's on this list and as an honorable mention is because while the game's already brutal to you just by luck of a roll, you roll a 1, you can die, or a card can kill you. You're also not working together, so I can avidly seek you out and attack you personally to take your shit, or to take a life from you, to try and kill you, then to steal all your stuff. Or if you're playing with certain expansions like the Wolf expansion or the Reaper, if you roll like a 1, you get to move those. And so you can just have it seek certain people out, which screw them over if they get dealt with. So, yeah, it can be pretty mean, but it's an honorable mention because it's most likely you're not going to be screwed over that bad.
Right.
All right.
My honorable mention is a much-loved game, and it doesn't have to be played with this mean deal, but people do it if they're really serious about playing it, and it's Ticket to Ride.
Really?
Because if you play Ticket to Ride enough, you know what the tickets are. Like if they're starting on, and you can really screw them over if they have a route going, and you can take all the spots and make it to where you just close them off.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. It's not like it's something you can do, but it's kind of it's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
But yet it is I've done it to my kids before.
Asshole.
but
no.
It's a mean thing to do, but it is something. It's a strategy in that game. You can cut people off their routes, so they have to. It screws them all over, and they have to go a long way around and stuff like that.
I didn't think of Ticket to Ride because I mean that seems to be one of those things that it's like if you've played that enough, you're like, oh, I know what they're trying to do.
Right.
I mean, I guess I haven't played Ticket to Ride enough to be able to do that, but yeah.
It's just one of those things that it's not a necessity to do it, but people do it if they're really wanting to win the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's just.
All right. Now let's get to the actual list of really, really mean games. And my number 10 is Smash Up. I think we're gonna have a lot of crossover here. So Smash Up is a game of grabbing a bunch of factions, 2 of them, and putting them together in one deck, strictly to hurt other people. Like games that would just constantly allow you to destroy people's control over a territory. You can completely, like multiple times have I completely destroyed someone's plans just by playing a card, and then they're just like, oh, really? I mean, it is a mean game, but it's still one of those things that you have to play with a certain. I should say, all of these are debatable based on the group you're playing with.
Exactly.
Like I've never had a Smash Up game go south, and like people actually get mad.
No.
But these all could if someone's really taking it seriously. But yeah, so with Smash Up, it's just complete randomness of the factions that you get and who you're using, and then the abilities are just constant. Hey, I take control over your person. Oh, that really strong, powerful one? Yeah, he's mine now, or he's dead. Or yeah, let's change this base so it's actually worth nothing. So a lot of it is just, by the way, everything you planned on doing isn't happening.
Right.
So that's why it's my number 10, Smash Up.
All right. Number 10 is one I was talking to you about earlier that
the one that
you may or may not have heard of. It is called Kittens in a Blender.
I have heard of it. I have not played it.
It is a small box card game.
Okay.
And what it is the box and the lid actually are components to the game.
Okay.
One of them is the actual blender, and one of them is like the safe spot.
Okay.
Right? And everybody has their hand of cats, the colors of cats, and you're trying to, at the end of the game, have the most cats safe.
Okay.
Right? And there's the blender cards and stuff like that. So the whole point and the reason it's mean is because there's certain cards that'll say, throw out all the cats of this number or this color into the blender and blend it.
Oh,
or move them one spot or move them two spots or whatever. So you're just pissing people off because you're throwing all their cats in a blender and turning the blender on and killing them, and then all those cats go away. But whenever that card comes out, if they're in the safe zone, those score you points.
Okay.
And stuff too. So you're just throwing, and the cats are all cleverly named. I mean, there's some that are cleverly named with stuff, and it's just they're cute little cats, and then you throw them in the blender and just chop them all up. And stuff. There's an expansion for it that I haven't actually played the expansion, but it's just like you'd said with Smash Up. I mean, I played this with Fletcher.
Oh
and
man!
He's already flipped the table because you just send they think they're doing really well, and then you play this one card that says move all theirs to the blender and hit the button.
Oh my god! Yep. I can see that pissing a lot of people off.
So it's a mean game to the players and to the kittens.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. All right. What are we on 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, because my list is like written in pen like an idiot. I'm like having to like move everything down. All right. So my number 9 is a fantastic game. I actually don't know if you like this game. I cannot remember. Cosmic Encounter.
I actually played that game.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, we have to play that. So Cosmic Encounter is a game of strict negotiation, and this is one of those things that the game itself isn't really mean. I mean, it can be, depending on the alien race that you get, but there are some alien races that are just big fuck yous, but it's negotiation. So it really comes down to the players who are being mean to each other, while also being aided by their abilities. Like, there are some that are like, hey, if you don't ally with me, or if you don't let me ally with you, then here are some negative repercussions.
Right.
And some person can be like, fine, all right, well, I don't care. You're not. I don't want you to win. There are others that will. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that like you can create treaties with people and be like, yeah, no, I'll totally help you, and you can just screw them over. So it ultimately comes down to who you are as a person. Like, Kat will never actually be mean to anyone. So if she makes a deal, she's gonna stick with it pretty much. I won't. Like, most of the time I'm pretty honest. Like, I'll be like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm helping you because I see a benefit. But there are times where I'll also say that, and oh man, I just love a game that should be on here. Oh well, it's not. It's not. But I'll pretend to be on their side and then not, while also using my ability to help me out throughout the rest of the game. So I guess this one would be more of a. It depends, because the alien races are so. There's 150. There's a chance of it not being so mean, because there are some where just, hey, if like the losers, if you lose, you actually win, and that's that. There's nothing negative or mean about that specific alien race, but you can still be a huge douche if you're trying to negotiate with people and you just back out on that. So number 8, Cosmic Encounter.
All right. Are you sure that's number 9, right?
Number 9,
yes.
Cosmic Encounter.
Just want to make sure.
Kept saying number 8. It was number 8.
It was, okay.
Now it's down to number 9.
My number 9 is Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
Evolution.
Guess I don't like that game. That's why it's not on here.
Well, it's one of my family's favorites.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of play out of it. And it doesn't have to be played mean, but there's that one point in the game where if you decide you want to go carnivore, you can just start ruining people's days by eating their species over and over and over and over, and ruining their species that they've created. So, like I said, it doesn't have to go that route. Especially, it's easier to go that route now though, since the second edition of it kind of came out, because it made it where it was more of a viable strategy to go carnivore.
Talking about climate.
No, just when because they came out with a new they
Oh,
updated
okay.
the cards for their core game
Okay.
and stuff when the Flight Kickstarter
Oh, I see.
came out.
Yeah.
So everybody got the replacement cards and
Uh-huh.
it kind of made it because the cards have the food emblem in the corner. That was how much food when everybody discards a card.
Right,
they put
right.
the food out there. They made those numbers lower.
Oh, yeah.
So it made
okay.
it to where there's not as much food out there. So you really need to go carnivore. So it becomes more of a. It gets used a lot more.
They also made them negative as well.
Yeah.
There were negative
So
cards.
So there's. It is made more of a valid strategy. Carnivore used to not be that strong, in my opinion. It was never something you could use it for a little bit, but then you need to transition.
Right.
But you can just really, if you get the right setup, you can just ruin people and just make it not very enjoyable for certain
They're
people.
just sitting there the entire game not playing.
That's what my daughters like to do to me. They like to eat all my
Just
pieces.
eat all your people.
Yeah. So.
Yep. All right. What are we on? 8? All right. So my number 8, after doing some finagling and figuring out my list, is actually once again a game that you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to play mean. None of these you really have to play mean, except probably my top 4, 5, 6. But my number 8 is Imperial Settlers. Actually, which is one of those games where it is a civ building game where you are a specific faction or race that you're just trying to get cards that are your own faction's build as well as basic cards. And your basic cards are also really good that benefit you, and those are the cards that can be attacked by the other players. So you kind of have to, and like I said, it doesn't have to because you don't have to attack each other, but if you want to get ahead, you want to attack them.
Right.
So you're gaining all these sword tokens to be able to destroy what they have built, and yeah, they get a kind of a compensation if they just get a wood for getting that, but other than that, you're completely obliterating it, as well as some faction abilities like the Egyptians who just take abilities, card abilities over from the other players. So whenever it comes to Imperial Settlers, it's not as bad as other civ building games where you can just wipe everything, but it's still pretty mean that you still get to do that, just not to their faction cards. So I mean, as any civ building game, that it still bugs me whenever it comes down to look at everything I've built, and you're like, oh, I have a high military, I'm gonna wipe all of that. It's a little bit of compensation, but still, yeah, it can be pretty brutal, especially some factions that are either all about raising other people's stuff, or, like I said, the Egyptians, which is takeover abilities, which is, I think, in my opinion, worse, because you don't get to use it, and they get all the benefits from your hard work of building that up.
That's why I like the Japanese.
Huh?
That's why I like the Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
Because those people are blocks.
Right.
You have a samurai on there, they block.
But they can also be attacked.
They can. Everything can be attacked on them.
On the Japanese,
but
yeah.
anything that has them as a shield, or they guard against attacks.
Yeah, that's like another sword that they have to have to attack them.
You can protect
Mm-hmm.
the things you really need.
Yeah.
More.
And
stuff. So
I mean that's true, but still, that's the last game I played. Someone was a Japanese faction, and I just saw the ones that was getting him points and just saved up my sword, and just to wipe those. So it's mean. You can be mean.
Yep.
So the Japanese faction, you can destroy everything that they have, but it's harder to do so. But yeah, that's my number 8. Yeah, number 8, Imperial Settlers.
My number 8, I think, is our first crossover.
Already, wow.
Yes.
Huh. Smash Up?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is Smash Up, and for the same reasons that you said. I mean, you're just hosing people over. If it means moving all their minions to a whole other base.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
Or
to some shitty base no one wants, yeah.
Or destroying their most powerful minion, or whatever. There's so many different things now with all the factions that are out, but they could be like, oh, we're gonna win this, boom. No, we're not, because then you're all over.
Speaking of that, they can think they're gonna win, and you could have I think the Ninja is a faction that is just before that, bam, 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 and you just appear, and it's I actually get all those points.
We had one time that happened. It was a clever move, but there's those one bases that first place is 0,
and second place is good.
Good. We had somebody play. I can't remember what faction or card it is that moves all the minions. over. Is it pirates with broadside or something like that, or
I
whatever?
think it's pirates.
But anyway, so this person had one on that deal.
Mm.
Moved. This one person had a crap ton over here. Moved it all over to that place. That one scored.
Oh.
They got the 0 points, and then they got points for for getting second place because they had somebody there. You know, it's just like so many mean ass things you can do in that game.
Right.
And the more facts, the more crap they come out with, the more.
Yeah, I remember I had one where I forgot the rule. We didn't do it this way, but the rule is if it breaks, it breaks.
Right.
Like no matter what, even if minions got destroyed, it still shatters. And I forgot that was a thing because I was about to move. Once it broke, I was about to move my friend's minions all the way, and I was like, oh, it actually doesn't.
Right.
And he was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, looking through the rules, I'm like, oh no, never mind, it still breaks. But still, yeah. So that's just even more examples of how Smash Up can be. But that's the thing is like, at the most, you're just gonna be more disappointed than mad. But some people, I can see a lot of people getting mad.
Well, I think the art and the graphic design of that game, it's not a serious game.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean to be serious. It doesn't look serious.
Right.
So I think that's a lot of the deal.
Okay, so we are on 7.
Yes.
My number 7 is a new one that came out in 2017 called Fate of the Elder Gods. This was actually new to this list because I kind of had to revamp it a little bit. Fate of the Elder Gods is actually surprisingly cutthroat. That when you're playing it, I guess the rules don't really depict it that way in any way. In all reality, like almost everything you're doing is cutthroat. Like if you're going to locations, you're either destroying their cultists or killing their cultists or removing their cultists to be able to take over that area, to be able to get the ability and to be able to have control over that. If you're not doing that, then you're playing cards to be able to move the action piece, the cultist piece, somewhere that they want to go because it has to move. So if I can see, oh, you need a lot more cultists, I'll move it there so you can't do that on your turn. So that's also mean. And probably the biggest mean thing that happened actually during the run-through that I did for the game was there were these investigators that once a certain amount go to an area, they go into your in your lodge, and if there's 5 investigators in your lodge, they attack you, they do a raid.
Right.
So basically, I had a friend finagle it in such a way that I had like 10 investigators in my lodge, and you roll a die for each one. So I'm rolling handfuls of dice, and you can lose the game, because if you roll a certain symbol, you get an elder sign around your track, and there's 10 spots. Like, if I had rolled shitty, I could have just immediately lost.
Right.
So that's also mean. And then they add the expansion, which are beasts, which can basically destroy cultists. There are curse cards that you can put on people. It's a pretty cutthroat game, and this one unfortunately is not one of those that's lighthearted enough to be like, oh haha you. It's more like, fuck you, man. Like, really? So yeah, that's Fate of the Elder Gods.
All right.
It's fun though. I like it a lot.
I haven't played it yet. I need to at some point. My number 7 is Game of Thrones board game 2nd edition.
Ah, that would have been a good one. I don't have
inherently, it's not a mean game. I mean, you're battling, obviously. That's not the mean part, because it's a war game.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're battling anyway. That you need to expect that. What's mean is when you're playing with multiple people and you have deals with people, and then like my experience, I think I brought it before on other things. Is I had an alliance where we were playing a 3-player game, and I was the Starks.
Hold on, real quick. Do you like that game at 3 players?
It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I played it all the way up to. I haven't played 6.
You haven't played
5.
6. You've done 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so I was the Starks. So you play Starks and Baratheons, or Starks, Baratheons, Lannisters.
Yeah.
So me and the Baratheons decided we were going to take out the Lannisters, and we get in position perfectly, and all of a sudden the guy that was Baratheons turns, and they both just crush me, and it happened fairly early in the game, and that was pretty much it. I couldn't ever get caught back up.
Yeah.
So very, very mean. I was kind of butthurt on that.
Oh,
that was one of those games that is, and you do get pissed at that game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty serious deal, and so it's just one of those deals.
Right.
It's a very, very mean game.
Yeah, so that, because I feel for you. I just want to know what your reaction was.
And that's the
so
thing.
they're like, are we going to do it? Nope.
Well, with 3-player does, we've talked about other games like Unfair and stuff like that not being great with 3. And this one has that same problem.
It does.
But barring that betrayal,
Mm-hmm.
it works good with 3 if everybody's... as long as you don't go and just totally have mass genocide on a family.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, they were trying to follow the show.
I know, but it is better with even numbers.
Exactly.
Like
it's one of those things that, like, the way, because that game is set up to where it's from the show or from the lore, the Lannisters and Baratheons are like almost destined to always fight each other, and then the Starks eventually come in. And so I think, 4-player, does that bring in Greyjoys?
I think. Oh God.
Right. It's been so long because there's the.
I think it's the. Is it the?
I don't think it's the Martells or the Tyrells.
See, I thought it was the Tyrell.
I thought it was 4-player with
I don't know.
Greyjoys because
maybe.
even then, if the that just basically means Lannisters won't have the resources to go straight after Baratheons because they're going to be attacked by the Greyjoys.
Right.
So
it's just one of those things that I think it wouldn't be as bad if it wasn't such a long game.
That is also true.
Because it's such a long game, and if you get hammered, because I got hammered, it was like, we hadn't even had any big battles. Like, it was, I was just getting my stuff marshaled and moving into the place when they crushed me, and I had, for the next 2 hours of that game, I was just, had nothing.
That's a good point, actually, because most of the games that I have on this list are not that long. Talisman, that was the honorable mention. The rest of them are relatively short, hour and a half, maybe, to maybe 2 hours. All right, so that was number 7.
Yes.
Number 6, which I know is going to be higher on your list if it's not your number 1, and that is Unfair. That's it. Just the title just tells you enough right there. Once again, a game you don't have to play mean, and you don't... Some of these games, if you're not playing mean, like Imperial Settlers, for example, you're kind of hurting yourself. Unfair, you can thrive and win without being a dick to anyone. Unfortunately, it would behoove you to also be mean, because we're the crux of the, I mean, it really just comes to the event cards. That's really the only way to be mean to someone else.
Right.
But everyone gets an event card, and it's not like, oh, I can only play one now. If you have a hand of event cards, you can just play them, turn after turn after turn.
Yes.
And so the event cards have 2 benefits. The top benefit, which benefits you, and the bottom one, which hurts someone else. But there are people and stuff that they can be like, they can block it. But like, it's a pretty good strategy, because it's like, well, how much do I want to hurt them more than I want to help myself? Most of the time, at least in my experience, the answer was no. I'd rather help myself. Mm-hmm. But if someone is just sitting there with 8 icons on a ride and you can close it, then that's going to hurt them a lot, because they're not going to have no money, which you may force them to take a loan out to get negative points. So, because it's really that only aspect of Unfair that makes it mean, is why it's at number 6. But yeah, it's pretty brutal. I remember the first time Kat and I played it as a 2-player game. Yes. She was very, very mad. And then we played it again at 3, and the third person was pretty mad because, like, it was funny. It was his idea at the very beginning. He's like, let's just all agree that we're going to be dicks to each other, and no one will get upset. I'm like, all right, cool. And then he was like sour the entire time because he had like no money the entire game. Negative 20 points by the end for his loans. And I remember the first time you and I played it, I was like, oh, we don't have to be mean. And I'm like...
You started it.
I did. I'm always the instigator, so that's how it's going to be. No! Don't do it! So, that's why. Number 6, Unfair.
Alright, my number 6 was one I thought a lot about, whether it needed to be on the list or not. It's a great game. It's an older game. Just came out with a 2nd edition.
Monopoly.
No, it just came out with...
that could have been on this list.
It came out with a 2nd edition with new art. It just came out...
KINGSBURG?
A month or so ago. KINGSBURG.
Really?
And the only reason I say this is because I'm sure it doesn't happen all the time, but when you play with certain people that their whole goal... This is kind of the same thing as you with Seven Wonders Duels. People just selling cards just to do it.
Just to do it, yeah.
When you play with certain people that just want to be dicks, and when you're playing KINGSBURG, and because your dice are in front of you. When everybody rolls their dice, you have the dice, and they see what you have, and they take the spot you want because that's the only thing you can get without totally fucking your whole turn over.
Yeah.
That right there sucks.
Yeah.
And it's not against the rules. It's totally
I
mean, if you had your dice hidden, that would be one thing, but everybody sees it. And my daughters do this a lot too. They're like, oh yeah, he has a 5 and a 6.
Yeah.
Let's take the 11, so he can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is dice manipulation with the little tokens,
right?
Like +2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it just sucks.
That's a good point. Like, I don't rage quit a lot of games. I've rage quit Roll for the Galaxy, but that was just because there's Roll Through the Ages, not Roll Through the I've never rage quit that one. Roll Through the Ages, just because there was no fucking point anymore. I've rage quit the Game of Thrones trivia game, but not Roll Through the Ages. But I've rage quit only games when people make decisions when they metagame, when they only go after you just because it's you.
Right.
Is like no benefit to themselves
right.
to better their strategy or anything. It's just like, oh, you're the most experienced player. I'm going to target you. I will quit. Like I will quit games.
And there's
like I was hold on.
No,
I was playing the trivia game, and it was me and Kat and 2 other people, and they're a couple. They're actually married now, and they're great friends of ours. We love hanging out with them. We were playing the trivia game. I was barely beating her husband, and I think we had like 1 round left, and I was going to win. And it's Game of Thrones. Fuck that argument. She was like, oh, just because I can't win, I'm just going to make sure you don't win. And I strictly try not to play with couples for that very reason, that they won't attack each other because they're scared they're going to get mad. I have never done that with Kat. I'm like, Kat, you're ahead? Fuck you! Like, but it benefits me. I'm never like, oh, no, she'll get mad at me. I'm not. I'm going to go after you. Mm-mm. Nope, I can't stand metagaming.
And with that way, there is a way to screw people over without doing the meta stuff too.
Yeah.
If they have a 5 and a 6 and a 2, and you have enough dice to take that, they want a 6 and you take the 6, so they can do it. I mean, that still screws them over and it's still mean.
Right. It's different when you're like, oh, I need the 6 as well, and you happen to go first, and it's like, oh, but they're not like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I probably...
So it's one of those things, just being able to hose somebody's spot and stuff. Puts it on the list.
Probably, if I had kids and they did that, I'd ground them. Like, oh, fine. You wanted to do something this weekend? No, you're not. Alright, so number 5 is a game I also just added on, because apparently I was missing a spot when I made this list. Number 5 is The Resistance. Which is a hidden role game, like, to where you are, and this once again kind of comes back to how Cosmic Encounter works, but unlike Cosmic Encounter with The Resistance, I still have like a sour taste in my mouth just from the way, it was a great experience, but it's just like, because you have a role, you're either the whatever, government, or you're on the loyalty side, the resistance side, but you don't know who's who. So you send people out, and then on certain missions, and they can pass it or fail it. Secret Hitler does the same thing. That could have easily taken this spot as well. But you don't know who's who, and you're all trying to point blame at each other, and never once is it not heated. Like, it's just always everyone getting in each other's face, in a good way. But I remember one time playing this game, it was, because the first one, the problem with The Resistance is the first one is almost a for sure success. Because you send 2 people, and if it fails, then you know one of those 2, so you just avoid them. Well, because we were playing it, because you can play it over and over, we were like, oh, okay, so we sent me and another friend, and I was the traitor in a row, all previous, and I was like, and I finally wasn't. Well, he was, and so we get sent out, and he fails it and blames me, and no one trusts me because I was the traitor each time, and I was like so mad at this, but that's why it's mean, because people suck. that's number 5.
My number 5 has already been said as well.
Unfair?
Yep.
Wow, I expected it to be your number 1. I think I know where your number 1 is now.
Number 5 being unfair for the same reason he said. You just screw people. I mean, it's the whole name of the game. You don't have to play that way, but the game wouldn't be as fun otherwise.
I still think it's a lot of fun.
It is, but it's not as. I mean, because part of the fun with that is you want to have multiple things built,
right,
being ready for the attack.
Yeah.
and stuff. If you have one thing and then you get it and you get butt hurt, that's your own fault.
Yeah, that's
building
true.
one attraction and stuff
Yeah,
like that. You
like
know?
I remember my friend asking me, he's like, "So what's the strategy for? Do you want to build a lot of rides?" I'm like, like you're gonna get a shit ton of points if you have 15 icons on one, but the chances of that happening are like not gonna.
I like to try to at least get 2 big ones and then one.
That's what I did. I had
in the middle.
I had like 3. I had one really big one, and then I had one my super mega one, which was like a robot. The robot one, which the ability was during the event step, you draw a card from the deck until you get an upgrade you can put on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a free upgrade. And I was like, so that was closing in, and I had a smaller sideshow and then a food place.
It gets meaner with the new expansion that's coming out.
Does it?
In 2018.
Does it? Yeah, because this one, like, yeah, even though it's on our mean games, you don't have to, but I'd assume that as more factions come out there, it makes it a lot more
And it is
cutthroat.
meaner if you play it with 3 people. Because in I've played it with 3 people a couple times, and more times than not, it's ended up 2-on-1. A lot of times.
Yeah, that's a lot of 3-player games, though. 3-player competitive games.
Yeah.
I would say Smash Up works best at 3.
Smash Up works best at 3. Yeah, that's one of the
Imperial
ones
Settlers, I think I actually like it a lot with 2.
Yeah.
Fate of the Elder Gods actually works pretty well with 3. Unfair, yep, someone's gonna get hosed. Resistance, you have to have a lot of people. Okay. Actually, yeah, a lot of mine actually kind of don't really, like they work fine with 3. Are we on 4?
Yes.
Alright. My number 4, which may also be on your list, is Epic Spell Wars. Epic Spell Wars is a whimsical game of, hey, I have the new expansion too. The mushroom one, it's just all about psychedelic mushrooms, and it's hilarious. This is also, like, it's a pretty cutthroat game because you're basically spellcrafting these fucking Adult Swim looking spells that have specific targets on them. And with the way I play, I just look for the best combo. I don't look for who it's really targeting. So mine's just completely random. I'm like, oh hey, it happens to hit left 3 times. But I'm never like looking at it, oh okay, I need to hit you. I just want to make the best name and the best art and then get the best effect by rolling dice. But like there has been times where like Kat hates this game because she like never gets to play. We sit down to play it and then she like dies before her spell gets to go off. But you're sitting there coming up with these combinations to try and kill the other wizards, and some of them are really, really bad, and you can negate, their spells. You can heal yourself, so they can hit you for damage, and you can just be like, oh, by the way, none of that happened. You just heal yourself.
It's one of those things that's. I feel bad if you take a lead, because you're gonna get
ganged up on, yeah.
Yeah,
because
so
then people
really fast.
that is true, yeah. So if you're ahead, then people are gonna start doing like if you're in the middle, someone can do to the right of them and then to the left of them, so you're getting hit by both spells.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yep, and then they can just wipe you out. So it's one of those beer and pretzel games as well that you shouldn't take it too seriously. And I never have.
I've had somebody rage quit on that game.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that someone would.
Because 3 straight rounds, the person got knocked out before they did their spell.
Yeah, that's.
And he's like, "Fuck this game." And
Yep.
He just left.
Yep. That's one of those games. Like the rest of these, I mean, you'd be kind of weird to rage quit any of them. Epic Spell Wars, I understand. If someone's like, "Nope, I can't."
Yeah.
There's no point in me sitting here.
It was my 12. It was just out.
It was just out. Okay.
And the reason I didn't is because a lot of the meanness is random.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it doesn't have to be as well.
Not all of it. But
Yeah.
that's why
You can.
It was close to making my list,
Mm-hmm.
but the randomness is what. Because the rest of my stuff on here is just really mean.
Pure like intentional. Whereas Epic Spell Wars for like me, it's just random who I hit.
Right.
But people could target easily.
Exactly.
Just look at it and be like, "Oh, you're to my left. Okay. Oh, you're the strongest. Okay."
Yeah.
All right. Number 4.
My number 4. I don't know if you've played this one or not.
I have.
It's gangster themed.
Is it Godfather?
No. It's nothing personal.
Oh, it's gangs. I guess I'd be mobster.
Oh, gangster mobster.
Okay.
Same thing.
Nothing. No, I've never
Nothing
played
personal. It's the game that Steve Avery and Tom Bassel created.
Oh,
years
did they
ago.
actually get that published?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I used to have it. It was
Okay.
They had Kickstarters and stuff with expansions and all
Okay.
that jazz. But anyway, so this game is a mob, whatever you want to call it. I'll say mafia. But there is a whole it's kind of like a hierarchy tree as the board, and you have these cards that come out. So there's the Dawn, you know, and whoever has control of the Dawn gets that's the ring.
Okay.
Because you're taking control, influencing certain people.
Okay.
There's this cool little gold ring you get to wear.
Oh, really?
You're
Okay.
Dawn
Pretty
and
neat.
But you have all these abilities, and you make deals with people and can break them. And I mean, this goes kind of like with Unfair. The title says it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're
nothing
just,
personal.
You
Yeah.
are just mean as hell. You're snuffing people out, making them sleep with the fishes, and you know, you're killing people. You're lying, cheating. You know, it's just nuts. And it's one of those I wish I still had.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one I just never got to play it. But the production value on it was awesome.
Right.
And they had a lot of, like, the characters that they had, a lot of the mafia people were based on people in the hobby. So there was like, you know, the Sam Healy,
Mm-hmm.
and there was all these board game designers.
Yeah.
Steve, what's his
Jackson.
name? No, from Stronghold Games. I can't think of his damn name right now.
Oh, I have no idea.
Anyway.
Actually, what his name is.
But anyway, you're just, and they move down the list. So like they start out as like little henchmen, and as they die and everything, they move up, and you're moving up the ranks, and you're having influence over them and stuff. And then you take them out when they get too strong. And at the end of the game, you're trying to have the most influence and money. And I'm talking like the chits are that thick, like the money and stuff. I mean, it's like super awesome production.
Yeah, good production quality,
but
which would make sense.
The entire point of this game is to screw people over, you know, and to try to be screwed over less than anybody else. And this is another one that pisses people off. Like,
oh yeah,
like we had one guy quit our game group because
of this game.
Yes, I mean, he was a new guy anyway, but like,
he just never came back.
He came in and we nailed him with it a few times, and he just
see if he can handle it.
So I don't know, but if you can find, I don't think it's like hard to get, but if you can find it and it plays really good with, I'd say at least 4. I wouldn't go less than that because you lose a lot of your.
Oh yeah, like that game at 3.
Yeah, so I would try like 4 or 5 people, but it's a blast, and each person has their own family, you know, your own influence and stuff, and there's a lot of it's a pretty complex game for what it is, what kind of game it is, but it's really cool. I'd check it out. All right,
yeah, I remember he brings it up in some top 10s, and I had forgotten that was the game that he made. Tom Vassell is the person I'm talking about. All right, my number 3 is Wiz War. Which is so Epic Spell Wars doesn't really work well with 3. It does, it's all right, but you're gonna get picked on. And Wiz War is another one that doesn't really work well with 3 either. For some reason, those two are compared a lot. Wiz War, you are mages in an arena that just have all these whimsical spells, and your entire goal is to either steal a treasure and take it back to your for a temporary victory point, or kill someone for a permanent one. First 1 to 2 victory points wins. Seems easy enough, except for the fact that it's just a chaos of spells that the whole point of the game is to kill the other person. And so there's just cancel spells and just spells that like teleport others, and then stealing cards and then items. And if you're not personally attacking them, you can screw them over because they have like board altering effects to where you can just like I've had areas to where you can just lay traps down, like even in their own arena, to where if they're trying to bring it back, they're going to take damage. Or you can just put up a wall so they can't get to their spot. Yeah. So you're just screwing people over. Once again, a beer and pretzels game that you shouldn't take too seriously. This one I think is a little bit harder not to than like Epic Spell Wars or the other ones, because there is a little bit more strategy that goes into this. And so whenever I've had it to where I had to make my strategy about killing people because they put up walls before, so I couldn't get the treasure. Or I had to hope because you can break the walls, but that's a lot of damage. You're trying to destroy it. So at that point, then people are just targeting you. And like the lightning spell that I know we've mentioned before that can bounce off walls and just disintegrate you. It's a lot of fun. I love the game, but oh man, it can be pretty brutal. The last time I played this game, Kat was about to win. She was like 2 steps away from dropping her second treasure, and I shot a spell through the warp that just hit her and killed her. And she's like, "Why don't you let me win?" I'm like, "You gotta earn it." And that was my second victory point. I ended the game. But I was like, "You were so close, and yet so far." And in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I've had 2 draw. Anyway, so that's my number 3 Wizwar.
All right. My number.
I should mention, by the way, that I love all these games.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't put games on here that were mean that I didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not butthurt about any of them. Resistance, I still kind of just think back and I'm like, fuck that guy. Good friend of mine still, but fuck him. But I can look back and think of just multiple scenarios with all of these where it was just like, man, screw that person.
Oh yeah. All right. My number 3 is an old game.
Okay.
Like 25 years. 20
Wow.
years, something like that.
I probably
Maybe.
haven't played it.
Maybe.
It's older than I am if it's 25.
Well, but they had a new version. Like Stronghold put out the 25th anniversary edition about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Survive, Escape from Atlantis.
Really? See, I thought of that one, but it's so lighthearted. I see why it's on
It's
your
mean
list.
though. I mean, it's you're throwing people to the sharks. You're throwing people. You know, you put them where you knock them off the islands.
Yeah.
Flood their place and
have the whales destroy their boats.
Yeah, I mean, you can just totally screw people
Yeah.
over, and you don't have to. That's the thing. But I mean,
no, you have to.
You have to in order to win. I mean,
yeah.
You know, but so you had another game that my daughters like to team up on me with because they like to just watch me get eaten.
Yeah.
Become fish food. But
that game, I love that game. That game is just, that weirds me out because, like, I have a fear of the ocean, so I'm just like,
yeah.
Get me off the
But yeah, I'm like getting on these boats and hauling ass.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, oh shit, there's my boat. Oh, there's the sharks.
Yep.
And every time they get the card that drop, move sharks, move sharks,
Yep.
move sharks, they just move it right to me.
Yep.
And it's like, why in the hell are you attacking your mother?
Yeah, see, I thought about Survive, and for all intents and purposes for this list, I guess Survive should be on it. I just, like I said, I can think of a butthurt moment for each. I always have a good time with Survive. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah,
well,
there's my person.
This falls into the category because there's mean games on here that just are pissy, like I said with KINGSBURG.
Yeah.
That is like just totally just fucking people over.
Yeah.
And then there's mean games where being mean is
part of it, and
that's part
it's
of
a
the deal,
whimsical mean, I guess.
And to go back on a lot of, I don't know what your list would look like on this, but if you take a look at all these mean games, and you talk about the ones that piss people off the most, and you talk about the ones that shouldn't piss them off, it's funny how you look at the art. I talked about Game of Thrones, its art's serious, and that would piss me off when mean stuff happens.
And
you talked about
Wizwar.
That's more of a serious art. It's not.
Wizwar, I think it comes down to more strategy.
Well, right, but I just picture art. Like if I see like Smash Up where it's like cartoony stuff, and you're getting screwed over. It's not as serious, or nothing personal. It's kind of cartoony art,
right,
and stuff like that. It's funny how art influences that
change.
Sometimes,
it like alters your mindset because ultimately each one of these games can piss me off if I'm already in a bad mood.
Right.
But if you come in, all of these, like if you come in, oh, so that's the kind of game I'm playing. You kind of prepare yourself. So if something happens, you're like, oh yeah, that sucks, and you're fine with it. Versus, I'm sure that guy playing Epic Spell, or who was it? Nothing personal. That guy quit. Maybe he didn't know that that's what the game was about.
Right.
So he's like, what the fuck? And then
and you need to.
And we beat him up afterwards.
You need to play Bunny Kingdom.
Oh, really?
See if that's a piss off game for you or not. It has bunnies.
Yeah, I know. This is what they do. They just slaughter each other. Okay.
But yeah, that was my number 3. A good old classic.
I didn't know that was 25. I guess I did.
Well, my edition says like the 25th anniversary.
Mine does
edition
too. Yeah. I also have a lot of the expansions which add. Not sea monsters.
The dolphins.
Yeah, the octopus, which will pull people off of islands, and the dolphins, which help you and protect you. But the problem is, people can just move the dolphins away from you,
right.
and it's like, no, come back.
Right, and which is
protect me.
Again, the mean stuff. Like there's stuff that when those cards come that it's just like it's a good mean game. It's a good fun.
It is fun, yeah. All right. All right, now we're on 2?
Yep.
All right, so like I said, my top 5 were pretty much solidified and can be pretty mean. Number 2 is a brutal game. One of your favorite games, actually. I'm surprised it won't be on your list. It might be number 2. Arcadia Quest is actually my number 2 because that's the point of this game is you are competing guilds trying to basically fulfill objectives to be the best in the scenario. And I've done a whole campaign of this, and by God, by the end of it, I hated Arcadia Quest. Enough time has passed that I played Inferno a while ago, and I had fun.
Mm-hmm.
Masmora sucked, but that's not kind of Arcadia Quest.
Heroes work for Arcadia Quest, though.
Right. So, in this, you are basically targeting each other because the game, each scenario comes with objectives for the world, and then there's also you have to kill another guild member, I think twice, and then one
killing
guild.
Killing him once gives you the token. For the
right, but I can't remember how many times you have to do that.
You just have to do it once.
You have to do it once.
Because there's multiple objectives. There's the scenario objectives.
Yeah.
And then the PK.
And
You have to at least do one PK.
Okay.
And then, unless you have multiple players, then you do multiple.
Right.
It's a whole thing.
Okay.
If you have
well,
4 players, you have to do 3 deals.
Well, so like so let's talk about the scenario objectives where basically there's a reward for it that if you happen to do that first, then you get the reward and you're screwing over other people for not being able to get it. But then there's just like it's so quick for you to just jump in and then roll a shit ton of dice because you have a badass character and completely obliterate their person, and then because it all comes down to dice, and they just go all the way back to their home. And they're going to get the curse cards because they died.
Right.
And so, yeah, you just target each other the entire game. There's no like in the maps force you to like have to face off against each other, and you just.
Yep.
I mean, there's the risk of if you're near a monster and you attack someone, then they'll attack you on the opening. But the monsters are just kind of there. It's really just each person fighting each other, and oh man, it's we hated that game by the end of it because we were just so mad and pissed off at each other by that campaign because we kind of pushed it real quick, and especially that last one where you're trying to the first one who kills, I think it was like Lord Fang or something, won, and that was the whole thing. But it bottlenecked that whole map, so it's like. Guild, one hallway, guild, one hallway into an open area, and then in that open area there were portals into his spot, right. And so you're just fighting each other, like trying to get the first person. And by the time I got Seth, who was my best character, once I finally got him through, he died. So I'm like, I fucking hate all of you. And I was trying to like work with the guy who was the other guild. I'm like, dude, okay, if we just let each other through. Then we'll beat them. At least I'm like, help me to help you.
Help you.
And I think he finally did. So we finally got through, and then we just once we got into the middle, we were killing each other. Looking back, it was fun. Kat once again really hates this game because it's one of those things she didn't get to play because her people just kept dying each time that they got out. So, I mean, one of those things that I'm sure she would like it if she ever got to actually use her guild. Because she had good people. She had Wisp, you can just run past monsters. She had Diva, who was...
I like Diva. She's the one that doesn't have
she's a tank, no special, but a lot of health.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of health and a lot of shields.
Yeah, four shields.
And who else was her third person? I don't remember who her third person was, but I know I had Seth, Hobbsbomb, and Scarlet. Scarlet actually ended up being my worst character, funny enough. I actually got so mad at her being shit, I threw the mini across the room and her arm broke off. It's like, fuck you, you fucking bitch. So, I don't rage quit, I just sit there pissed off. So, I don't know which is better. Which is better? Rage quitting or just sitting there sulking and being pissed off at the table?
It depends on how you handle yourself, I guess. When the Game of Thrones deal where I got hosed over and stuff, I just kind of sit there and just take the turn. And
yeah, it's just like, fuck it, yeah. Alright, so that's my number 2, Arcadia Quest.
My number 2 is a game you still haven't played yet, that you really should. Spartacus.
Oh, okay.
Treachery.
Huh.
This is another game that is all about the fucking people over.
Really?
This game has so much working together are making side deals because you're a Dominus. Everybody has their own Dominus, which is the guy that's in charge of their house or whatever, you know. And you win. There's a certain, depending on if you're playing the short, medium, long game or whatever, there's a certain number they have to get to as far as influence. So it's kind of like, has the same kind of thing with Epic Spell Wars. If somebody's getting close to it, everybody goes after them. So you can work together, you can do stuff together, you can help them pay for stuff, you can give them gold, you make deals. You can also just as easily turn your back on them and screw them completely over. There's cards you get in your hand that you can play on people that just totally just ruin their day. And they can block it if they have guards, if they've hired guards. They can tap a guard or whatever to block this card. So I mean, there's ways to get around it. But I mean, there are some very powerful. I can't remember what the card is.
I guess that makes sense.
There's some.
So I can't remember. Does that game follow the show, or do they just use the art?
There really is not. There's not a storyline to the game.
Oh right, okay.
I mean, you're pretty much your phases are, you know, you're buying stuff from the market. You're auctioning off at the market. You're auctioning to see who's going to run the game, or you have your card phase where you play against the people. You have the actual show, the Coliseum phase, and then it's the reset. And go through and do it again. So there's really not a storyline to it. Right. But it is all clip art from the show and stuff, and people. You have slaves and you have stuff, but
because I think that show, if I remember right, was pretty betrayal-ish. And
it was.
I couldn't remember because I tried to wipe that show from my memory.
But
so bad.
This is a game like. I mean, this will really piss people off. Really piss people off.
Really?
I mean, because I'm
glad you told me, because you want me to play it a lot, and I would have went and not.
People have to realize that it's coming. I mean, like make deals, but make it with, tongue in cheek a little bit, because have a backup plan in case they turn on you, because there are certain things that'll happen, and this is the last time I played this game. It was like, can I borrow, because you can use other people's influence to do things. So there's certain cards that say if you have 8 influence, you can do this, So it's like, I had 5 influence, and you can borrow 3 influence. You're not taking it, but if they have at least that much, you can be like, hey, will you help me so I can do this card? And if you do, I'll give you $15.
Yeah.
And then he'll say yes. So I'm like, awesome, I'll do my thing. And sorry, I'm not going to pay you. And don't do that too early in the game, because I did that early in the game. And then I was shit on the rest of the game. I usually wait till later. I just wanted to see what happened.
Right,
stuff like that.
Yeah, you found out.
But I mean, and right before the battle, in the Coliseum, you can whittle around some stuff. There's gambling on whether the person's going to get killed or not. You can have
that's right.
You can have your best gladiator there if you have Spartacus or any of the Gaius or any of those guys are in there, and they're almost to die. You can talk to the Dominus, because the Dominus is in charge. Thumb up, thumb down. If they're gonna be decapitated and out of the game. If you don't want them to be out of the game, so you can try to heal and be like, hey, I can, try to, and then the Dominus can just as easily screw you over too, take your money, and then
kill him. Oh my god.
I mean, it's a mean ass game, and I have one of the 2 expansions and stuff, but it's probably the most. It's got to be one of the most Ameritrash games I've ever played. I mean, because it's fistfuls of dice when you're battling. The dice are so like if you lose by X amount of deals, you actually take dice out of your pool. And then
I remember you telling me that.
You run down your dice and stuff, so the battles are always cool. And
that sounds like, get the fuck out of my house.
It's a mean game.
You're dead to me.
But it's a blast. It's one of the best games I have.
That sounds bittersweet fun. All right, number 1. Can you guess my number 1?
Going off, I'm gonna say Cutthroat Caverns.
Yes, Cutthroat Caverns is my number 1. That was almost a given because the game is called Cutthroat Caverns, and it is by far kind of what you were saying about Spartacus. Where, you want to work together and help each other out, and you can come up with all these ways to... Essentially, the world, or the game is you are heroes going into a cavern to battle all these monsters. You need to work together, otherwise the monster's going to attack either everyone or certain people, a certain initiative order for a bunch of damage, and once you die, you're out. But they have a certain number of prestige points that the person who actually kills the monster gets the prestige, but you need everyone in to make it through.
Because they have a crap ton of hit points.
Yes, because they have a lot of hit points, so you want everyone to help you, but you also want to screw them over to be able to kill it. So, it's one of those things where you don't want to screw someone over too early, because then you're just not going to get help. You're like, hey, can you heal me? No.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. So you can just die. And, yeah, this one, like, out of all of them, is probably the most brutally mean game that I can think of, because never once have I watched someone quit a game so quickly as the last time I played Cutthroat. Where, where we had a friend. He came in. We started playing, and he went to, because he was the one that was going to get attacked, and he would have died. And he went to attack, and then 2 people canceled him out in a row, and then he died. And he's like, "All right, I'm going home." And he like, "What? Are you really?" So, yeah, it's interesting because you want to work together, but you don't gain anything if you continue to work together.
Right.
So you're playing these cards. It's a card game, really, to double your attack, weaken someone else's attack. Just a lot of events that someone's gonna like going for the kill. You can play a card like, "Oops, you tripped."
Yeah,
Actually,
trip
yep, nope, you don't attack. In fact, you actually miss your whole next turn. Or if it's like, hey, whoever doesn't hit this monster gets attacked, and there's like poke in the eye, which is just 0, but you technically hit them. And so you're not getting attacked, and you get to screw everyone, so they get targeted. Yeah, it's a pretty brutal game.
Well, the sheer number of evil bad guys
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to take on are just crazy if you have all the expansions.
I have all the expansions.
There's so many
in fact,
weird.
I have.
Weirdo, you have the new one.
I have the new one down
there.
there that adds the 7 deadly sins, and the designer of the game I was talking to, and he's like, "Well, you want to know what they do?" And he told me. I forgot at this point, but I was sat there and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Like, just who comes up with these? Because they're pretty wicked."
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my number 1 main game.
All right. What do you think about mine?
I guess for you would be Cutthroat Caverns.
It is.
Okay. I was like, there's no way. I'm surprised Arcadia Quest wasn't on
It
your
was.
list.
It was one of my weeded outs.
Really? Okay.
It is mean, but
Yeah.
these
All
other
right.
ones are just so much work. You know,
Yeah.
Cutthroat Caverns for the same reason he said. It's just. I mean, I've been had the brunt of that many of times where, like, I don't even know why they're attacking me. My health is way down low, and they're still hitting me. I'm like, why are you doing? Why are you hitting me? It's not like I'm not, you know.
Like, you need me.
Right.
It's like,
and it sucks when it happens early, because that game, as simple of a game as it is a long ass game.
It is, yeah.
And
especially with the expansions.
Player elimination sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost. It was against the first monster.
Yep.
They killed me, and then I'm like, what do? I'm
Yep.
like, I'm just gonna sit here for 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
while you guys slug your way through all
Yeah.
these monsters and stuff. I wish there was some sort of a
Revive or
or
some
something. I mean,
shorten the game or something. But yeah, that's a good point.
or a ghost where you're still there a little bit, but
Yeah.
not quite. Or
Nope, it's just once you're
You know?
dead, you're dead. Go
Yeah.
play something else. And yeah, unfortunately, with player elimination, the game almost always has to be a short game, and it's not.
right.
And I don't blame Robert for going home. I would have too. I'd be
Yeah.
like, all right, fine, because that game lasted a good hour after he
for
was
sure.
gone. It's fun and it's a blast, but only if you're in it. So
Right.
I don't know why, like, because you can't target like everyone or one person. You need everyone in, but that's just even more chance for them to screw you over.
Yeah.
It's a pretty mean game, and not only that, because it's not only monsters that just deal damage. Some of them are actual, like, just, hey, it's a riddle room, so now you have to set up and...
Or there was one, wasn't there like a labyrinth
Yeah.
one or something where you're in a maze and you're having to like roll dice?
Yep, there's that one.
You know,
there is a game where you start playing memory.
Yeah.
You actually play a game of memory. There was
They're
one...
creative.
There's another one, yeah, they are, where, like, you can be a werebore, so it's like... Now, if the final ones, and someone has the yes, you're a werebore, now they have to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the game can be very long, and it's brutal, and people are going to be butthurt. That's another game that it should be beer and pretzels. It's not, because it's so long. Whereas Wiz War and everything, like Epic Spell Wars, are like, no, hey, I lost. All right, that's that. That was a lot of fun. Cutthroat Caverns, I think you're going to be pissed.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it's I mean, you know, and I don't know if I can't remember if it was on my top 100 or not. I don't think it was.
I know it made mine.
But I mean, it's
was
one of
higher,
those. The player elimination is what really hurts that game. I like the game.
Yeah.
I you know, it's not that I don't like it. It's just if there wasn't that player elimination, but it makes it so mean because
it makes it mean, and it makes it tense too, because you don't want that. Like I said, you don't want them to die, because that's going to increase your chances of dying. Right. And if you all die, no one wins. So I guess you could sit there and root for everyone to lose.
Well, yeah, I know. That's kind of what I did. I was, you know, but like there was no reason for them to be attacking me.
Right.
I had like 3 health left, and I'm like,
yep.
I have no, and everybody else is full health. It's like, why are you just
exactly
me? You know.
So that's it, everyone. That is our top 10 mean games. Once again, I want to make a caveat that all of these games I love and I have a blast. And that what determines a mean game is, I guess, kind of subjective, because it all depends on the group. It depends on the group, and also depends on the mindset and expectations of people coming in. You could tell someone how Cutthroat Caverns is, and they could have a blast. Even if they die, they could be like, that was a lot of fun. But almost none of these, maybe my top 5, like 10 through 6, were more strategy heavy, but they can also be mean, whereas the other ones were just blatantly mean. That it's just, there was a caveat to all of these, on my list anyway. But tell us what your favorite mean games are in the comments below, but other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you want to support us, you can go ahead and click that link to go to my Patreon account. If you have any suggestions, you can go ahead and click the link in the show notes below to go to my Board Game Geek list. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.